All right, shall I just, okay. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is, the days are still getting shorter. So short. But even though the lights of the Hanukkah candles have at this point burned away, we are still coming together to bring light and warmth and hope to each other and to our community. And it's wonderful to be here with all of you and all of you online to welcome Shabbat and share our continued light. I saw a meme on Facebook that the miracle is not that the miracle of Hanukkah is not that the light lasted for 8 days, but that it has lasted for 2,000 years, right? And here we are, even with the candles now burnt out, still sharing our light with each other. We kindle our Shabbat lights, and I'd like to invite up the Varkovitsky family to light our Shabbat candles. We are on pages 2 and 3, 3 and 2.
Melech haolam, asher
ציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue with Ma Yafeh Hayom, how beautiful this day, on page 10. You can find it on the second paragraph. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom.
continue on page 344 with Shir Chadash. I think it's in the middle of the page.
All the earth a new song unto God. Shir Adonai, Kol haaretz. Shir Adonai, Shir Hadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We turn back to pages 20 and 21 to welcome Shabbat as a bride with Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on the 9th verse, rise to face the entrance and welcome our Shabbat bride.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zakor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelecha, Ki mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nisocha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva ore komi ori, 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 shirda beri, kivod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzolam. Toch emonei am segula, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated. We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Yamad Yivrach Yirutei V'yamlich Malchutei V'chayechon V'yomechon U'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala U'vizman Karim V'imro Yehesh Merabah Mevarach Le'alam Olam Me'amayam Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipar V'yidromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitalev V'yithalal Shemei D'Kodeshah Richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tosh bechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imro. We rise for the formal call to worship on page 28. Ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 oh ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Ya la la ya la 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 Ya la 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 Oh ya la la ya la 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 Ya la 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 la.
On page 31, we join together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravi.
Page 32. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha havta, Amcha havta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Alekein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofteinu, Ukumenu nasiach b'chukecha, V'nizmach b'divrei Toracha, U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'bahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kechol Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated, page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidivartam, vishivtecha, beveitecha, uvelechtecha, vaterech, uvishochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam, Al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
We join together on page 41. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. On the facing page, we sing Mi Chamocha.
Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya lai 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 lai, ya ba bim bam, ya lai 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 lai, ya ba bim bam. Vihi kamocha ba'lim Adonai, vihi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norati lot o seifele, norati lot o seifele, ma'alechutecha ra'umanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe o Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Hey, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay dai 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 dai, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay dai 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 dai, ya ba ba bim bam. ונאמר כי יפד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
On page 42, we join together in the middle of the page. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Vishamru, page 44.
Vishamru, Vishamru, Bnei Yisrael, et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we turn to the Amidah on page 46, I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach ufi agite ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Anora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezras Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, O matir asurim, O mekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha bal givurot, O midom elach, melech memit, O mechayeh, O matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue with our private prayers. When you've finished with your prayers, you may be seated.
page 62. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace on us, on all Israel, and on all the world. Join with me, the bottom of the page. Ose shalom mimromah, O yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Ose shalom mimromah, O yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Just as an aside, every time I hear a phone ring in services, I think of a line from one of my favorite songs by the folk singer-songwriter Billy Jonas, who has a whole song. It's like a 7.5-7-minute song called God Is In. And one of the lines is, God is in your cellular phone. God will not leave you alone. Especially during services, it's God calling, even if it might be someone else.
And you just got done touching my leg out of comfort.
That was an alert from Costco that the granola bars are contaminated and you should bring them back.
Okay, don't eat the granola bars from Costco, is apparently what God was telling us during services this evening.
My alert system is on, but otherwise shut off.
Okay, we learned a lot this evening. One of the things we want is for people to stay healthy, and there are many in our lives who are in need of healing of mind, healing of body, and healing of spirit. And if there's anyone that you are thinking of on this Shabbat who is in need of that healing, I invite you to share their names with us at this time.
The hostages.
Misha Berach can be found on page 253.
Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And to share a few moments of gratitude and blessing from the past week.
So at 6.5, my son was diagnosed with Crohn's, and it was a big battle for many, many years. And he had a colonoscopy on Monday, and there is absolutely no sign of any disease whatsoever.
Wonderful.
It's on.
So the 5th of this month is 10 years that I've been in the mental health counseling profession as a professional counselor, although it feels like 20. And yesterday was the last day I saw clients for the rest of this year.
Yay, Mazel Tov.
Our granddaughter Brianna and her partner Daniel are safely in the state of Washington. They are with her mama for a week, and then they're coming here to be with us for a week. So if you can come next Friday night, you will get to see our precious girl.
You're visiting from Israel.
My finals got done yesterday, and I don't think I tanked my GPA. So
my parents came to visit, and we had a really great visit. And I'm not being facetious. It really was good. And I took my mom to the Korean spa, and she was like, "Oh, this is so wonderful. How come I've never done something like this before?" So she had a great time.
Nice. Something new.
So the hole in the ceiling over my bathtub that has been there since before Pesach, from the pipe that burst, that was finally patched, only for this afternoon as I got home from work before coming to shul to discover that now there is a leak from the water heater that is making the carpet go squish. But maintenance was very prompt, and the cats tolerated the presence of the maintenance person, so I am thrilled.
just a couple things. So my daughter Gabby is coming home for a visit from the Peace Corps. She's been staying in Ecuador, and she'll be here tomorrow for a couple days, for like 12 days. And my cousin who lives in Montreal with her family is coming to visit as well. But one of the great things that happened in council is that we passed the urban forestry ordinance to make more trees happen in Tacoma. So I'm so excited about increasing our tree canopy.
Kai is home from Evergreen for a few days to do their laundry.
As it should be.
This past Sunday, I went up to Seattle and participated in their rally for Israel. And it was just this wonderful event. There were about 200 people, Israeli and American flags flying. We marched down 4th Avenue, and the police were all around guarding us. It was just an incredible, very beautiful experience. There was singing and joy, and we hope that those that are held in Gaza come home soon.
I think it was about 10 days ago that the oncologist told my wife that her cancer was dormant. And that basically meant that instead of thinking for the next 5 years, we should think for the next 10 years.
It's wonderful.
We say, Baruch Atah Adonai Hatov v'Hametiv. So how many of you have ever said, oh, it always happens to me? Quite a few of you are not nodding your heads or raising your hands, but my guess is you're just not sharing. I know I've said it multiple times myself. And wouldn't you know, Jacob says it too in this week's Parsha. Okay, so we are in Parshat Miketz. This is a whole series of parshiot that really leave us on cliffhangers rather than with something very settled. So the last parsha ended with Joseph telling the royal butler to remember him to Pharaoh. End of parsha. And then we find out at the opening of this parsha, at the end of the 2 years have passed, and the butler has said absolutely nothing for 2 years while Joseph has been in the pit in prison. And he finally comes out because he has interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, the ones that none of his magician, diviners prophets can interpret, with the seven fat cows being eaten by the 7 skinny cows, and the 7 healthy ears of grain being consumed by the 7 shriveled ears of grain. Remember this story? Some of you are saying yes, and some of you are giving me looks like you've never heard this before, which you'll hear it next year, so. Greg, have you gotten to this in class? Yeah, well, you don't have class every Sunday because you don't have class this coming Sunday. Pharaoh dreams of 7 fat cows coming up from the river, and then there are 7 shriveled, unhealthy, skinny, emaciated cows that come up from the river and eat the 7 fat, healthy cows. And Pharaoh is like, this is a weird dream, and wakes up. Or he wakes up and then he says, this is a weird dream. And then he has another dream which has 7 ears of grain, nice, healthy grain on one stalk, and then there's another stalk with 7 shriveled, dry ears of grain, and the 7 shriveled, dry ears of grain eat the 7 healthy ears of grain, and Pharaoh wakes up and he's like, what is this? And he asks his dream interpreters, and none of them know what it means. And then finally the butler remembers that there's this guy down in jail who actually interprets dreams and seems to do a pretty good job, so maybe Pharaoh should ask him Joseph says that it's going to be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine, and instructs Pharaoh what to do in terms of collecting extra grain during the 7 years of plenty and making sure that there will be enough to feed the community during the 7 years of famine. Pharaoh says, great, you interpreted the dream, you have some ideas, you're in charge. And, right, be careful what you say. But he does get out of jail. So Joseph becomes Pharaoh's right-hand man, sets everything up, silos to collect all of the grain during the 7 years of plenty, and then to dole it out, figures out how to dole it out during the 7 years of famine. And during those 7 years of famine, we find out that actually the famine is not just in the land of Egypt, but has stretched all the way into the land of Canaan, where Joseph's family lives. And one day, the brothers, 10 of his, how many brothers? Right, 11, Joseph has 11 brothers, 10 older, 1 younger. So the older 10 brothers come down to Egypt to get grain for their families. And Joseph recognizes them, but doesn't say that he's recognized them, gives them the grain, puts their money back in, or has his servants put the money back in the sacks of grain so that when his brothers get home to, okay, you need to tell Safta to take you. Puts the money back in the sacks of grain so that when the brothers get back home, they are like, uh-oh, what happened? We have our money and the grain. This is a little sketch. But before they get back home, Joseph starts asking them some really weird questions. Do you have any family? Is there maybe a brother? And they say, yeah, there were 12 of us, 10 of us are here, one is back, our youngest brother is back home, and the other one, we don't know what happened to him. He's standing right in front of you. Joseph decides after this that he's going to hold one of the brothers hostage until they come back with Benjamin, with their youngest brother. And Jacob, when they return home, how many brothers went? 10. And how many came back? 9 came back with all of the grain and with all of their money, but minus a brother. And Jacob's response to this is, and they say, we got our grain, it's really weird, we got our money back. And also, if we need to go back, we're gonna have to bring Benjamin. And Jacob's response is, this always happens to me. Which is actually kind of funny because remember who Jacob is? The one who traded some stew for the birthright and then deceived his father for the firstborn blessing and then tricked his father-in-law to acquire lots and lots of herds. Right? He's actually not a victim for the most part. He does create quite a few problems, some of his own devising and some because, his mom said so. But as he has gotten older, he has started to, feel put upon by the situations that he's experienced. And in particular, Rachel being mostly barren, except for having 2 children, the second one which kills her, and the first one who gets torn by beasts. Remember, that's what he assumes when the brothers bring him the torn cloak. And so he's missing his favorite child, and now he's lost another child, and he's lost his favorite wife, and there's a famine, and so it's reasonable to see where he imagines himself as, at this point, a sort of perpetual victim. I was reading, actually earlier today, some commentary, some opinion pieces about the state of anti-Semitism in America and freedom of speech and responses to the congressional hearings that took place last week, and read this line that just jumped out at me after having read the Parsha, which is, Americans love victims and support the victimized. Right? So in our society, not that you necessarily get more by being a victim, but people really love to know that someone has it bad. Maybe it's that sense of schadenfreude. Maybe it is sort of the recognition over the past handful of years that actually our country does systemically oppress a whole bunch of different people based on things that they have no control over and keeps them oppressed because it's fun. It does not make sense because it's actually bad for our economy. But nevertheless, we have, I don't know about promoted, but in some sense supported claims of victimhood, except when people are Jewish. But to be honest, Jews have plenty of desire to be victims, right? It's in some sense part of our story, is that we are victims, right? What's the story for most holidays? The tagline for most holidays?
Tried to kill us. We survived. Let's eat.
They tried to kill us. We're victims. We survived. Not we won. We survived. Let's eat. Right? The way we are dealing with our victimhood is by celebrating the fact that we're still here, which frankly is incredible that we are still here, right? That's not a given. There are many other nations that in fact were much stronger than the Jews that no longer exist. Maybe a sense of victimhood has allowed us to thrive, and that is a whole other discussion that I remember having when I was a teenager about whether anti-Semitism is actually good for the Jews. Because the sense of victimhood keeps us united and keeps us thriving. I know, it's really weird. Not gonna go into it. That being said, it's really, really important for us not to get into this victim mindset. Even if American culture supports it, even if Jewish culture supports it, when we think, ugh, why does this always happen to me? We forget that we have agency. We forget that we have autonomy, that we have power and strength in our own lives. Not necessarily the power to do everything, not necessarily all of the abilities in the world, but that we are always making choices for ourselves. And that it's actually not beneficial to us in any way to say, I had no choice. Because when we say I had no choice, this always happens to me when we make ourselves the objects rather than the subjects of our lives, then we actually don't get to shine the light to make meaning in our lives to bring good into the world. Jacob, for all of the blessing that he sort of brings, at least, right, he's a complicated character, but for all of the blessing that he brings into the world, doesn't at this point recognize that he has anything left in him. Everything is acted upon him. He doesn't have any agency. Right? And this is a person who just a couple weeks ago wrestled with some being and demanded a blessing. Right? He's not some weakling. He's not a victim. But he gets stuck in his victimhood. And it leaves him really virtually unable to do anything. If we remember the strength that we have within us, the power that we have within us, if we remember that even when bad things happen, we have choices in how we respond to it, then I think we will be able to be a healthier, stronger, better, more whole community at peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Greg, or Vivian, are you doing announcements tonight? Okay. Vivian is doing everything tonight. She set up our oneg and helped, at least started to greet at the door before Barbara Aqua came and greeted at the door. And now announcements.
Just one of those evenings, you know.
It's a good thing you're here.
Shabbat shalom. And thank you to Barbara Aqua for helping out this evening. Is she here? Barbara, somewhere? Anyway, okay. Thank you to Olivia for doing service support, and to Sarah doing our, there she is, doing our tech, and to Stacy for helping with me to put our oneg together. Okay, announcements for this evening. Speaker series Escape to Shanghai, Thursday, December 21st at 11 a.m. Please join us online or in the Temple Sanctuary for a presentation from Henry and Kate Haas. Henry was born to a Jewish family in Berlin, Germany, 1938. In July of that year, his parents resolved to escape, but no immigration destination was open to them. For a year, they sought refuge in various places, including Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Italy, Holland, and France. Finally, in July 1939, with the assistance of a Jewish refugee organization in Paris, they secured tickets on a ship to Shanghai, China. This was the only place in the world that would admit Jewish refugees without visas. Henry and his late mother, Gerda, who lived to the age of 98, told their family story for many years to school classes and other groups in the Tacoma area. Henry is now a member of the Speakers Bureau for the Holocaust Center for Humanity in Seattle to further share his Holocaust experience. Henry and Kate tell his story together with the use of photos, maps, family documents, and videos. This is a free program sponsored by Lamed Vav. Donations are experienced. Please RSVP to Lana at the front desk. There is a snow day with TBE, Wednesday, December 27th, 12 to 5 p.m. Drop off the kids for a fun indoor snow day here at TBE. We will have snowballs, art, snacks, movies, games, and more. So come and enjoy some winter fun and activities. For questions, please contact Maddie. Two events with the Sisterhood. First one is Dim Sum and Mahjong, which is Thursday, December 28th from 8 to 5 p.m. To 5 to 8. What did I say, 8 to 5? It's the dyslexia, sorry. 5 to 8 p.m., thank you. The Sisterhood of TBE is hosting a dim sum and mahjong social for the Sisterhood members and their families ages 13 and up, featuring a special drawing for mahjong goodies during the event. There will be an Asian-prepared cod and vegetarian dim sum along with Chinese snacks and tea. Beginners are welcome. No prior mahjong experience is required. The cost is $10 a person, $20 for a family. And you can pay through the Sisterhood Treasurer. Cash or check will be accepted, or contact Bunny Peters. And all of this is in your Shabbat Shalom. The Sisterhood is beginning to gather information and volunteers for Purim. So they put together, this is their fundraiser called Mishloch Manot, and they don't want people to donate goodies, to fill Purim boxes, to donate money, to help with supplies, or to volunteer. There are two co-chairs, Jani Doctor, and Deb Friedman. The last one, Tacoma Jewish Community Fund is still gathering funds for Israel. So, join with those who have already given more than $30,000 to the Tacoma Jewish Community Fund's special appeal for Israel. Funds raised provide dynamic, holistic, and comprehensive assessment to support immediate and urgent needs such as medical care, emergency services, evacuation, transportation, housing, resources for victims of terror, trauma relief, psychological support, as well as preparing for medium and long-range needs. Donate securely online through www.tacomajcf.org. Just use the tab Donate, then Special Fund, and choose Israeli Social Services, Disaster Relief, and all this information is on the sheet of paper that's out our front, so if you need one, gather one. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, you're welcome.
Janice, should I say anything about volunteers for cleanup? No. Not yet. Okay, so what I'll say is we are going to be doing some important cleanup, including moving the library into the music room so that people can actually use the library. Keep an eye out for more information about when we need volunteers for that. We are going to return to our prayer books, page 282. Please rise and bow your spirit for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated.
We think of those who have died in recent days and weeks, and those who have died at this time in years past. We're especially thinking of Alan Hoffman, the father of Lisa Hoffman, who died this morning. Burial will be on Tuesday at 3 p.m. More information forthcoming. And we are in the period of Shiva for Rabbi David Ellenson and Cantor Judith Borden Ovadia. We also think of those for whom we are still in Shloshim: Ron Johnson, Jack Warnick, and Bronca Sundstrom. If I've said the name of someone that you're thinking of, I invite you to rise. And to you we say, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'toch Shar Avlei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. And those who died at this time in years past, if I say the name of someone you're thinking of, I invite you to rise as well so we can acknowledge you as a mourner. We think of Sally Birnbaum, Richard Burnett, Tatiana Chernevsky, Milton Doctor, W. John Driscoll, Ben Etzickson, David Hoffman, Wayne Hollingsworth, Val Wayne Hubbard, Norman Kleinman, Victor Lyon, Terry Robinson, Evelyn J. Roderick, Scotty Russ, Rachel Stahl, Frank Sussman, Louis Wynn, and Anita Yovitz. As we think of them, we say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We rise to join our mourners so that no mourner has to stand alone, as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom mimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. Amen. You may be seated, and we conclude with Adon Olam on page 321.
Join me in this French Sephardic melody. Adon Olam Asher Mahalach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora Ve'ho Haya Ve'ho Ove Ve'ho Yiyeh Betifara Ve'ho Yiyeh Betifara Ve'ho Echad Ve'ein Sheni Lecham Shilo Lechachbira Beli Reshit Beli Tachlit Velo Haoz Ve'hamisra Velo Haoz Ve'hamisra Ve'hu Eli Ve'chai Goali Ve'tzor Eli Ve'etara Ve'hu Nisi Umanos Li Ve'nat Kosi Ve'yom Ekra Ve'nat Kosi Ve'yom Ekra Ve'yado Avtid Ruchi Ve'et Ishan Ve'ayira Ve'im Ruchi Keviati Adonai Li Ve'lo Ira Adonai Li Ve'lo Ira.
We continue with Kiddush on page 5. Please rise, embody your spirit.
Baruch את אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה ורצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו לחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ לתאוות.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.